Hello, welcome back to SharePoint Project Management at RCIT, aka Q2 Project Management. I'm Kurt Bell, your Q2 Project Manager for today, and today we're going to have a lesson about using the project notebook that comes with your SharePoint site. So we're going to go ahead and let me just close a few things down here to clear the table here. At our last session, we were learning about the milestones and how to have tasks and milestones and show that on your timeline. Today, let me go ahead and bring up our site right now. I'm going to go ahead and here we go. Oh, I'm in publish mode. There we go. Publish that back again, and then we're going to go ahead and bring up the site. Here we go up to the screen. Okay, so guys, everybody remember this is our project, right? The Oingo Boingo World Tour. So they're just where we left it 2 weeks ago. I haven't done anything to it.
Was it this group that we did Oingo Boingo or the other one?
This group.
It was this group.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, so this is the Oingo Boingo World Tour 2020. You can see that we are still, oh my goodness, how are we doing with that old business case? Don't worry about it. This class, we're not actually doing the business case. So we're just learning how to use the various tools. But you can see that today line moves forward. Time continues on. What I want to show you now is quickly, let's look at the milestones. If we look at the home page, we'll see that there are just there's one phase and 3 milestones that are being tracked here. One of them is due tomorrow, that business case. But if we click on the milestones link itself, we have a lot of stuff. All 10 steps of our methodology are listed here. Does anyone remember why there are 3 milestones in one phase on the home page and all of them are here?
There's no date to that.
There's no date. Right, that's right. There's no date associated with it. We need either a date or a range of dates. And what happens if we have a single date versus a range of date in terms of how the item appears on the timeline?
You get a milestone if it's a singular date, and you get a whole phase if it's a large.
That's exactly right. So over here we have a milestone with the step 3 evaluation phase because it has one date, and then we have a range over here. Now, put that in your mind real quick. Let's make that a little bit bigger so that sticks there for a second. Okay? See that pattern there? 1, 2, 3, 4 phases: pre-project evaluation, planning, execution, and closure, and 10 steps, and then followed by a project end. Now I'm going to open up our notebook. I'm going to go ahead and open that. And one of the things I like to do is I like to not just click on the things explicitly, because then we just cycle around the page. If I know that I'm in a project and I'm in a meeting, I like to keep the project homepage visible right there so I can always easily come back to it. And I'll typically right click on the item and then open it in a new tab. And that begins building the pages I need out from there. So if I need to quickly refer back to the milestone, back to the home page, I can do that. I don't have to hunt around for it. So again, look at that in your mind, that little pattern there, and then look at what you see here. Do you see the same pattern? 4 phases, 10 steps, right? They start off the same, and I did that deliberately because they basically reference each other. We know that the work we're going to do in this project in all cases is the 10 steps of the methodology. The pieces that are going to add from there are whatever come of what's unique for this project. If it's an application development project, that will be the development planning and work that we'll do. If it's an infrastructure project, it's whatever infrastructure we're going to do. If it's a field services project, it's whatever our team is going to be doing in the field. Let's talk a little bit about what we're looking at right here. I imagine you're all familiar with using OneNote. This is OneNote Online. You have the option to click on this OneNote, open in OneNote, and it'll actually bring it out to your desktop, and you can use the more enhanced OneNote if you like. I tend to just like to stick with the online version. You saw, some of you were here before we started the camera. I was showing you a real project, and we saw that we had multiple sections over here. Can anybody the section we have here is for team meetings. That's the default one. Can anyone throw out some alternate sections that you might need in a project? Maybe you just remember from what you saw before?
I think you had sponsors,
Yep.
RCIT, and
Yeah, that's a good one. It could be anything in the world, but you're probably going to want to have a sponsor section. Every now and then I have meetings with my sponsors, and I don't want to bother them to see everything, so I might just boil down the agenda to something simple. You could have an internal team meeting for our agency. You could have one with the vendors, whatever you want. I try to, as much as possible, try to keep it down to just one. Lately with my projects, in fact, my latest project, I'm not even having sponsor section anymore. I'm keeping it all on one page, and I'm just using the check boxes to remind myself of what I want to talk about with the sponsors. I'll take away all the check boxes off of everything but the few things I want to discuss with them. Okay, so now there's two items here though, right? There's this first one, these are templates right here. The first one is team meeting and the other one is kickoff meeting. These are templates that you can use to begin instantiating pages for all of your meetings. Let's look at the team meeting first. It has month, day, and year and team meeting. So this is our first meeting as a group, okay? So let's go ahead and put in today's date. It's 06/25/19 and just team meeting. And the project name, this is called the Oingo Boingo World Tour, right? And believe me, the time you're taking to put this in right now, you won't have to do it again. It'll be duplicated. This is not the kickoff meeting. Oops, I have to change that in the template. This is the team meeting. And we're going to be meeting today from 12. And if you're wondering why am I not going back all the way to do this, because it loses the coloring if you go back all the way. So I just go to there, 12 p.m. to 1. Oh, we're not in the military. 1 p.m. facility and room. This is RCIT, 4th. Let's get rid of that. I don't like that. Floor, think tank room. Get rid of this. Dial-in number is going to be 866-564-8586. Now, if you become a Q2 PM project manager, one of the things you'll be assigned is your own meeting number, conference number. So if for your own projects, you'll go ahead and put in your number here, and the passcode will be the participant code, which in this case is 3162720. And of course, you have your own leader code that you use to get in. And then the meeting organizer is me. There we go, and that's it. And I'll never have to do this again for the rest of the project. So I've just put the details in there once. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and identify who's going to be in this very first meeting. I'm going to use the people that are here right now, and that's going to be Jeff Zambrano. Jeff, did I spell your last name correctly?
You did.
I did? Okay, great. Thank you. Marissa's got it. And Diego Garcia, right? Corona. Where did I get Garcia? Corona. I'm going on 3.5 hours without food, so forgive me. Omar Mohammed. What's that? Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Marissa Rial, and we've got Juan Ugarte, and I am in here as well. Now you can sort this any way you want. I typically try to sort, if I can, by alphabetically. Some of the teams I've been on with 20, 30 people on the teams, it's nice to have it alphabetical. You don't have to hunt and peck. I make fun with my team sometimes. If it's not alphabetical, I play kind of a bingo game. See who can shout out the number for the person first. People kind of have fun with that. What group are they in? All of you. Well, Omar, you are county HR, right? County HR. Everyone else is RCIT, right? Everyone else is RCIT. And what our roles are. Okay, Jeff, you are going to be PSAC for another week. And, and Diego, you're going to be, what group are you in?
I'm in BSA.
You're BSA, but what?
So Fiscal.
Fiscal.
PSEC is PSE.
EC, thank you. great, thank you. And Omar, you're going to be county HR. Oh, I already got you there. You're going to be our training, okay, group. And Marissa, it's going to be licensing. Licensing, at least for now. and Juan, you're going to be a PM, and me as well. Okay, very good. So there we have our team, and we're laid out. And we're getting ready for our first meeting, okay? So we're gonna, and I'm gonna scroll on down here. This is our log where we're gonna record what happens in that first meeting. And that's how the remainder of this lesson, we've got about 29 minutes left to go. We're going to spend some time actually having our first meeting, not our kickoff meeting, but our first meeting, okay? And we're gonna develop a couple of action items. We're gonna actually talk about this Oingo Boingo World Tour. So, actually, Jeff, I'm going to change your role because we're doing the Oingo Boingo thing. So you're going to be, what would that would be? How about what would be the equivalent for PSAC for a rock and roll band's world tour? That would be. How about let's see.
Communications.
Communications.
PR.
We're going to change it. We're going to massage our roles a little bit. Fiscal, that's good. We're going to need a fiscal guy. Training. What would training? We wouldn't need training on a world tour, but what would we need the training? Kind of your role.
Safety training.
Oh, okay. Safety, right? Safety training, and then licensing. Of course, we're licensing
Contracts.
contracts.
Yeah, coordinator.
Are we going to give Marissa contracts and licensing?
Sure, it's right up my alley.
Right?
Okay, contracts, and one. I'm going to change your role. You're going to be media. How's that?
Sure. Media and advertising.
Would that be communications?
Oh, communications. Wait, that's communication. Well, we're taking two different types of communication. How would we make Jeff? I kind of like it's like.
Staging, the microphones, all that.
Oh, what do you call that? That would be
Something stage coordinators.
staging lead. How about that? Hey, we're putting together a real group, right? You know what I think we need to do, everybody? I think we need to break this. I can already see we're going to need to break this into two separate groups. Because we also know at least 3 other people that are going to be a part of this. Well, for now, let's just go ahead and add them in. Does anybody, Juan, do you remember what are the names of the Oingo Boingo folks?
Oh, let's see, Danny Elfman,
Danny with an A?
EL.
E-L. And and we'll just put his last initial in. And what's the other one?
I'm going to have to look them up.
Okay, and I'm going to put in there,
Player A and Player B for now.
okay, I'm going to put in the band. And these are our sponsors, right? Sponsor. There's 3 of them, right?
There's more, but they'll do for now.
Okay, great. And Danny, and what's the first name of the other?
I'm looking.
What kind of fan are you?
I know, I'm not. Pull them out of my head.
Okay, we'll come back to that in just a second. Now, you can
There
add.
you go.
Okay.
Steve Bartek
Steve Bartek, like that.
and Johnny Hernandez. There's more members, but we'll just leave that.
Johnny Hernandez. Did I spell everybody's name correctly?
Johnny
With an E or something?
That's good. That's perfect.
Oh, wow. And Danny, how do you spell Danny's last name?
It's Elf, as in elf.
Oh, good. Very good.
Elfman.
Elfman. Okay, great. All right. Okay, now, we can do it just like this if you want to, and I have projects where I've done this. I've segregated the sponsors into their own column when there's a lot of them, and that way I can kind of keep track of the two. But this works. So we're getting ready for our meeting. We're not ready to start the meeting just yet. So this is our pre-meeting planning for our very first meeting as a team. And I'm just going to take a look over here. This is all the stuff that's good. All the hyperlinks are there and work. Let's see, there's no project charge code. The charge code, if your organization has a charge code, you'll want to add that in here so people can do their timesheets. The Department of Social Services has that, so I always add that in. But I don't get the charge code until it becomes a proper project, and I have to go through, Omar, you know that whole rigmarole. And we'll leave that alone for now. Now, I think we're ready to start. And I'm going to add something in here, which is, and I might add this into the overall formal methodology because this is coming up with every project. First meeting notes. I've been finding on almost every project that there are things that come up in the very first meeting that are not, I'm going to change that color, bold, there we go. They don't belong anywhere else but here. So let's just have that there. Okay, we are ready to start our meeting. Okay, so let's begin the meeting. Now, so I'm going to be the project manager for this, and I'm sitting here. I get in about 10 minutes before everyone's to arrive. I get everything all set up and ready to go. The phone line is running. The Skype is running. Jeff, can you still see? Confirm it's still working. Let's see if he's still there.
If he's out in the field, he might be having a signal issue.
Oh, you're right. He's probably on a mountaintop somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, it looks like we lost him.
PSEC's got to look into that.
Okay.
That's right. So I literally, I usually arrive about 15 or 10 minutes before the top of the meeting. Get in, because usually there's an issue, and I want to see myself here. The thing is open, my phone line is open, and then I do a meditative thought for a minute and wait for my first person to come in. And as they start filtering in, I start checking them off. And I think in the order in which you arrived, I think Diego was here first. And I think Omar, you arrived next, Marissa, and then Jeff, and Juan, and I'm here too. Now we're not expecting our sponsors. So that's another reason why to segregate the sponsors off to another side. You're not waiting for them, right? Because they're on another list and they're thinking, oh, well, if they show up, that's just a bonus. So we begin right off the bat. And here's how I would probably begin. I would begin by opening the business case, which we don't have for this initiative because this is just a tools initiative. And the business case would describe the project to us, and I would begin talking to you about the business case and say, okay, this is a project where the Oingo band, Oingo Boingo, wants to go back on the road. It's going to be a world tour. They're going to see 10 countries, and they're going to visit 25 cities, okay? And it's our job to plan this out. And as we begin discussing this, I come over here. Oh, I see something that's missing from all of this. Do you spot anything that's missing?
Is it a link?
Nope.
No?
Check marks.
Oops.
I have to add the check marks. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, I just told you the project story, right? As we know it so far, right? And I could come over here and go to the home page and show you the project story. Now I'm going to open the floor and we're going to start talking about things. So let's actually do that. Let's imagine we're actually going to send them off to a world tour. Now the business case, that's going to belong to me to do. I'm going to change that to Kurt Bell. And the project proposal, that's also me, okay? And the evaluation phase. So let's start talking about this group going on the road. So what kind of things do we need to do to begin figuring out how to get Oingo? Let's imagine we're actually going to do this. What kind of things are we going to have to do to?
Well, I'm assuming first you want to figure out what cities they're visiting, what dates, so that you can find venues.
Okay, so someone's going to need to, let's change this to a bold. Actually, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to actually go up here, because this is where we're going to log things. I'm going to say, and that first action item is prepare a list of, well, how can we say this in a concise way? It's going to be a list of cities, because all Oingo Boingo says is, we want to do 10 countries, and they kind of know off the top of their head which countries they want to do, and we're maybe 25 cities. So what would be, what's a good concise way to say a list of cities and a list of countries and cities?
Itinerary.
Locations.
Oh, itinerary, locations, right. So prepare, what do we call it? Tour itinerary. Did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you see I'm doing this with everybody watching, right? We're all in agreement about, that way when we see this in the future, we'll all know what this means. Okay? Prepare a list of countries, cities, and maybe the venues as well?
Yeah.
And venues where the band will perform, right?
So
Okay.
we're creating like an estimate?
Well, are we getting an estimate?
Are we creating one right now? Like, because, I don't know.
Well, all we know at this point is the 3 band members told us, we're gonna go on tour, we're gonna visit, we thought 10 cities, but we didn't tell us clearly, they mumbled a few things, and they said, maybe 25 cities in 10 countries. We don't know the details yet.
Okay. So right off the bat in the description is prepare a list of countries. So a lot of moving parts here. I would add one word, prepare a wish list.
Oh, okay.
And because you're going to go there and they're going to come up, they're going to do this list. And then when they start to look at it, it's going to like, how are you going to get from here to there in that amount of time?
Okay.
It'll whittle down. And then when you find out that you want to be in that city, they'll be like, yeah, but there's no, all the venues are booked for the dates that we want to do.
Right.
You also gotta look at like budget and costs.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's good.
Costs
first.
So
I was
AI,
asking, I was like, dude, are we making an estimate before we create a budget, or?
I guess I would think you want to list the venues first, because then you would ask what it costs to go there, if there's any special permits or what is needed.
Oh, so that's a
And then
dependency.
you can determine if it's over budget or within,
Okay, great, so,
that's just my thought.
okay, so we're gonna add a description, but I'm gonna add a dependency, I can never spell this word. Dependent, there we go, thank you. Thank you, the AI.
I know some concerts you go to, and you have to have meet and greets where they sell their merchandise, and then maybe some venues don't allow you to do things like that. And so it depends if the band wants to do stuff like that.
So there's 2 ways to do the budget, right? The bank could just tell us, okay, we've got $10 million to spend. Find a way to what can we do for 10 million? Versus the bank could say, we want the 10 countries, we want the 25 venues, how much is it gonna cost, right? So we have to figure out what kind of, we have to determine what,
Just a side story just came to me that I heard that when the Rolling Stones would go on tour, they would have different meetings with different groups. They'd have a meeting with the roadies, they'd have a meeting with their sponsors, because to have all these people together at the same time was, you know.
so
So we got to figure out which
That's-
is first.
I like you
Chicken
said
or
at
first.
Diego, maybe they have a pre-established budget,
uh-huh.
because then from there we can, how much you can spend on like advertisement and all that.
Identify if there is a set. Really what this needs is, this is another action item, is a budget plan.
I think, yeah, like you would estimate everything first, see how much it would cost, then be like, all right, well, this is how much money we have, then create an overall budget.
Oh, okay. So maybe start, like, well, if
Yeah,
Juan said about the wish list, right?
Create an estimate.
Just tell us what you want, and we'll tell you how much that's gonna cost.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, okay, well, we can make this much money off of this show and off of that, so you could add everything up and then create a budget that
Well,
way.
hey, guess what, guys? I've got this thing called the business case sitting right here. Let's see because I filled it out with him. Let's see what it says, if there's anything helpful in here. Let's see, the band is interested in spending roughly $10 million, no more than $10 million on this. So, and they really want this itinerary. So I guess we can go ahead and, that gives us our guidance, right? We can go ahead and fill out their wish list and see if it matches the 10 million, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then find ways to tune it.
And then you gotta look at your profit too.
That's right. Okay, so the profit, we'll add that in as well. So one item is prepare a budget plan. Do we need that? Because we know what the,
Yeah, you do need a budget plan, because basically the 10 million is your starting funds.
Mhm.
You're going to spend this much, but you don't know how much they're going to generate yet. Because as they're going on tour, they'll be making money, right? So, there's this kind of working fund, so,
so really this is a fiscal plan more than
Yeah.
anything else, right?
yeah.
So would the profit and all that be part of this project management? Or would
Sure.
that be-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so because it's going to be a complex piece. So, what we just identified, we need a new team member, right? Because we don't have any, we do. Diego, you're our fiscal guy. Yeah. Don't worry, we're not,
No wonder he's asking about the budget first thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done project management, and when we do construction, we do a completely different thing. We already have either we have a budget, or we have an estimate, and then we go off of that, and then we start planning everything around that. So of course, subcontractors and stuff.
The fundamental difference with construction is you're just spending money. This is not only spending money, but it's making money as you go along. So you're kind of replenishing your funds. It's interesting though. I mean,
yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure it out. Like, how would you do this?
no, it's dynamic.
Yeah.
It's really dynamic.
So I think we can add our first item under the proposal. Remember, the business case and the proposal are the two halves of the coin. The business case is identifying the problem. The proposal comes up with your recommended solutions, right, to that problem. And so we will need to have some idea about revenue for this, right? We know what it's pretty simple. It's not like building software, like we have 3 or 4 ways to do this. There's just one way to do this tour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say an action item is fiscal plan. Diego, that's assigned to you. Okay, great. And we'll come up with more. And then we're going to be laying out other plans here as well. So we've identified prepare the tour itinerary, prepare the fiscal plan. Oh, there we go. And that sign is going to be assigned to Diego. Okay, right? Diego, who, if you are not around, who's going to back you up? Just make somebody up.
Wouldn't it be like coordinator?
Coordinator?
Yeah.
It would be whoever in case you quit.
The accountant?
Who?
The accountant?
Okay, so you just need a name.
Oh, just a random name?
No, yep, any name is fine. But the concept is somebody, not you, that can also do this.
Yeah.
So if you leave, we're not left in a lurch.
Jeff Rogan. Seth Rogen.
Seth R. Okay, very good. And who's your supervisor? Let's not give a real name. Let's just pick let's just make up a fictitious name.
Would Seth be my Can he be my manager too?
Is Seth a real person?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. He could be.
Yeah.
Is he your supervisor?
Yeah.
Seth R. Okay, so what we've done here is we've established some work. We know who's going to do the work. We know who can do the work if you're not around, and we know who to talk to in case you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
All that's laid out. And when do you? Well, let's leave the due date open right now, right? Because we need to lay out more information. So action item. This is an action item. So how about the tour itinerary? Prepare a wish list of countries, cities, and venues where the band will perform. So far, all we know is the band members telling us some countries no one really knows for sure. It's on the back of a napkin somewhere, right? So who amongst our team, and maybe it's the PM that needs to do this. I think it's the PM at this point that will do this. So I'm going to assign this to myself. Kurt B, and my sign backup will be Lyle B, because I always use him, and Mike R is the supervisor. And I'm going to give myself a firm date. I'm going to give myself 1 week. I should be able to do that with the band in 1 week. So I'm going to say July 2nd, 7/2. And this is another action item, and we're going to leave this. Yours is to be determined. Okay, good. So we're starting to make some headway. So now we've only been doing this we only have 9-10 minutes left. Wow, we've only been doing this for about half an hour, and we've got work. We were going to come up a week from now. We're going to have a solid list of countries and cities that we want to go to, and we're going to be on our way towards a budget for this thing, right? Is there anything else that we can do in 10 minutes that we can think of more work that we can assign out? And if not, that's okay, because I can make use of this 10 minutes.
Just once you have you have to have your list first, and then so you can have a wish list of venues.
So maybe this is enough for now, Juan?
We also need to line up our transportation.
Yeah, coordinate. We just need
Coordinate how we're going to get from city A to B.
Oh, that's somebody we don't have on our list, right?
We're going to need some type of transportation.
Okay, so we're going to have to, this is a new team member, right? But remember, so really now, at this point, it's still not a project, right? We're not bringing someone in as a team member. We're identifying them as a subject matter expert to advise us. In fact, all of you are currently not team members. You're subject matter experts, right? I'm the only one that's really on the hook, right? You're just kind of informing us. Later, when the band says, yes, I want this, then you become team members. So we need to identify, this is an action, it's an action item, identify transportation SME. I wonder if there's like professional agencies out there. It's transportation C, and I put in brackets agency, maybe, right? So reach out to, well, maybe I can just ask the band, you know, who have you used in the past for your transportation, right? Okay, perform discovery of transportation professional services solution, right? And I will take that upon myself to do that. Good. I think we've done it. We've got 9 minutes left, and we've got 3 items of work. My supervisor is Mike R. The backup is Lyle. I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna give myself a week because I'm gonna call this team together again in 2 weeks, and we should have some items ready by then. So let's stop right there. Okay, the meeting. Let's imagine that the meeting has ended, and this has been a very productive meeting because we came up with 3 items of work that are going to move this forward in a good way. And now I'm going back to my desk as a project manager, and here's the part of this process that you're going to want to turn and walk away on, because if you're not the type of person that likes to sit at your desk, you know, doing hyperlinks and typing things out in detail, then this isn't for you. Okay, but you got to do this, otherwise that list I showed you, not on the camera, I showed the team beforehand, that the long list of the story, you won't have the story later. You will lose things. They will disappear, and they will come back and bite you. Okay, so meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for your time. This has been great. I go back to my desk, and I'm sitting down at my desk. Okay. Okay, this meeting was good. We came up with 3 items here. I don't need these 2 right here. I'm going to delete those items right there. I need to create 3 action items for this project, and all of them are going to go down here. So first, the project proposal. Well, I know that this fiscal plan is going to be something that's going to help us to develop the proposal. These other items, prepare the tour itinerary and identify the transportation. That's going to be part of the first meeting notes. Now, everybody, you're going to kill me, but you can't copy and paste in OneNote Online. You will corrupt your notebook. You have to type this out. Prepare tour itinerary, and that's assigned to Kurt B, and that's going to be 7-2. The other one is AI, identify transportation SME. Of course, SME is subject matter expert, in case I didn't say that earlier, for those of you watching on video. Again, that's Kurt B, and 7-2. So I've just taken these 3 items here, and I've plugged them into the story. Remember those of you that saw the story from the other project, how it was so long and detailed? That's how the story grows. And you need to think a little bit, where does everything belong? If you put it in the wrong, if you're building a Frankenstein monster, you need to think that the fingers go on the end of the hands, right? And the feet go where? Yeah.
Why would the fiscal plan be in the pre-project evaluation versus the meeting notes?
Because it's going to factor into the proposal.
I see. It's something that's solid in terms of
Yeah.
the tour itinerary, haven't determined it, but you need a fiscal plan.
Yeah. The fiscal. Well, in fact, they could go down there. In a way, it's kind of subjective. In a way, it's because in all my past projects, the detailed plans that I have to give everybody all becomes children of the proposal.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of it. So now here's the part and I've got 5 minutes left to finish this. Okay, here's the part that is the heavy lifting. Okay, now I have to take this and I have to grab the title and go back over here, and there's this little old thing down here called log. I'm going to click on the log, and it's empty right now. There's nothing in there. I'm adding my first log item. Click on new, and there's the title. Control V, paste in the title. Go back over here. Grab this description. Now, I wrote this description with everybody watching. Everybody agreed that this was an accurate description. So there's no chance that I'm going to be transposing anything that's not correct. I just paste that into the description, right? I go ahead and add in the staff name is me, okay? And the backup, see how the fields are there? Backup, it corresponds exactly to what is in the template here. Okay? The supervisor, I'm not going to type any name in there right now because that I just made up that name and I don't want to put any real employee names in this because this will be on the internet. But you would put the supervisor there. Then down here under status, it defaults to open. Now, I have to ask myself, is this an action item? Is it a decision, a change, an issue, or a communication? It always defaults to action item because that's the most common thing we enter here, right? The due date, what due date did I give myself? 7/2, right. Comment, no comment at this point. That's it, all you need to do. I'm going to grab this title, copy it. Once you get this down, it's really fast. And I save it, and there's our first item. It's defaulting to close. There we go, there it is. Now I'm going to click on it. I have 2 minutes left. Click on edit. So this opens it up into an editable link. Then I'm going to take this URL, copy that, go back over here, and I'm going to do two things. I'm going to paste the URL into the title here. Bingo, right there. Prepare tour itinerary, and I'm going to paste it in here, just over the thing here. Tour itinerary, and then what color am I going to make this?
Yellow.
Yellow, right?
Because we still need to do it.
Yeah, this is our first open item on the project. So when I have my meeting 2 weeks from now, I know I need to talk about this, right? And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add over here a little cheat note. I'm going to say, assigned to Kurt, who will, was it me? Yes, who will research. And I'm going to add, what color is this going to go? Does anybody have any idea?
Blue.
Blue, there you go. There I've got my cheater note in. Okay, so when next 2 weeks from now, when we have this meeting, I'm going to look like a pro because I'm just going to come to this item and say, oh, we've got an action item. How do I know it's an action item? It says AI. Oh, we've got an action item here. Prepare the tour itinerary, signed to Kurt, due on the 2nd. It says, Kurt, that you were going to research this. Have you got a status report? And I didn't have to look anything up or anything. In fact, any of you could sit in my seat and do the same thing because you know how to read this. You don't even have to be a part of this project. I could call in sick and you could sit in on any of my projects and actually run my meetings without knowing anything about my project.
Then you could update it too.
Right, and so here's how it works, okay? And when you get this down and it really goes smooth, it really looks magical, okay? I come in and, okay, everybody, we've got our first action item is to prepare the tour itinerary that's assigned to Kurt, due on the 2nd. Kurt says he's going to give us research and give us an update. Kurt, are you ready to give us a status report? Now look, I'm in the comments section already. I am ready. As soon as Kurt starts talking, which is me, I will start typing in. Kurt says, the following. All of my teams know this process. And they start talking and they're seeing me transcribing what they're saying and they're reading it and the whole team is reading it. And watch them, the honesty radar goes up, right? Because they know I'm about to click the save button. After that's done, lock that in as a comment, right? And wow, it really does good. And we'll be able to refer back to that. Now I don't need to do that right now. And we have 1 minute left. I'm almost done.
It's good for accountability.
That's what it is. That is what it is. It's accountability. And guess what else? Let's say that this takes 6 weeks to do, right? And we've had 3 meetings so far. Not only do we have accountability, we have the story. Every time we met, I update it. Good project managers that use this methodology always update it, even if it's just a note to say, reviewed with the team, update, right? Because then we say, well, it looks like we've talked about this for 3 weeks and the following has happened and the whole story. I'll do one more and then we'll close. And then I'll take this one, prepare, you guys guide me. Here, you have another action item, prepare a fiscal decision. Where do I go?
You go to the log.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that.
New item.
Yep, that's right. I'm going to go to, see it, and there's our action item. It should come up in a second. New. And paste it in here.
And then grab the description and paste it.
Yep. There we go, and There we go, and we have our dependency, and then the assigned staff is who's on this one? Is it,
Diego.
it's Diego? Okay, I'm just gonna, let's just imagine that I don't want to put your real name up here, okay? Because this is gonna go on the internet. So just imagine we put all 3 names in there, right? And the date, the due date is the 2nd. Or no, we didn't give you a due date, did we? So let's add that in here. Okay, let's sit down under the notes. Let's say, no initial due date, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, pending for further input or research, right? And it's an action item, and we're gonna just, what do I have to do before I hit save? Copy this again, because then you put it in your copy buffer and you can search for it when you bring up here. Otherwise, you have to remember, what was it called?
Oh, I see, so when you hit F, it'll come up.
Yeah, I'm gonna do, exactly. And Control F, Control V, see I just did Control V, and there it is, right? Because when you get a whole, once you get 300 items in here, you're gonna be hunting for it, right? I just grab that. Okay, what do I do?
Then go back to the timeline.
No, what's the next thing?
Copy the link.
Nope,
Like, where, I don't know what it's called, back where the steps are.
nope, edit mode.
Oh.
If you don't put it in edit mode before you copy the link, you'll have to do that every time you open the item in front of your team.
Oh.
Okay.
So if you do it now, then every time you click on the link in the meeting, it opens automatically into edit mode, and you'll be ready to go.
Oh, so you put it in edit mode and then you copy the link.
Then I copy the link, and then what do? I put it.
Right there, and then you,
Does anybody have any idea why I do this? Why do I paste it into this title?
Just so you have more accessibility.
because that's where you're gonna start the meeting.
No, not necessarily. Here's what happens. Usually, it's, oh yes, my boss is at the door. You need me? Okay, off I go, right? And then he takes me away for 30 minutes, and I come back and, oh, where was I?
I got you.
I've recorded what I've completed so far. It's just my own little way of doing it. You don't have to do that. And then what do I do with it next?
Then you do this.
Then you can copy it there
Yeah.
on that list.
Look what I did. I didn't type it. I didn't give it the same title. Prepare a fiscal plan, and it prepare a. That's right.
Then copy that link there.
Yes, indeed. Paste it in, and then I'm going to let you guys go in just a second. There we go. And what do I do next?
Add your cheat note, or highlight that in yellow.
Yep, yellow, and then my cheat note. And what was the cheat note? I'm going to say no.
Fiscal plan pending on.
Okay, say that again?
Fiscal plan pending on tour itinerary and transportation SME.
I think
Perfect.
that's-
And transportation input, SME input, like that?
Yeah.
I see, you're telling us that we can't really come up with a fiscal plan until we know where we're going and what it's gonna cost, right?
Yeah.
I love that, In fact, I love that so much, we should probably have had that in
The description.
the description. So let's go ahead and add that in. So we got that blue, let's go ahead and click on this and see how it opens it right into edit mode. And I'm going to update our description. I'm just going to replace this right here. Dependency, I just replaced this part. The dependency is, wow, not that. The dependency is this. And I've lied, I'm keeping you guys late. I apologize. We're almost done. There we go. That's a better dependency, right? And a save. Now that's it. So now it's what I would do to complete this is I would do one more, the same thing, and then what I would do often is then click on the share button. Wait, one more thing. I would check mark next to the things I talked about. Did we talk about that tour itinerary? Yes, we did. Did we talk about identifying the transportation SME? Yes, we did, and that'll be yellow and hyperlinked in just a minute, right? Did we talk about the business case? Yeah, I did, a little bit, right? You heard me talk about that. Did we talk about the project proposal? I mentioned it probably. I mentioned that there will be a project proposal and that we will need a fiscal plan, and then I'm complete with that, and I'm complete with that. Did we talk about any of this? No, we didn't. Then at the very end, I would click on the share button, and I would type in, my battery's running low, I would type in the name of all of the people who attended, and I would put down here a message, hello, Oingo, Boingo World Tour Team. Notes from today's meeting are linked below. New action items for the following team members, okay? And I would say Kurt B and Diego C, okay? And then I click on the send button, everybody gets an email in their inbox, and then that reminds, when Diego gets back to his desk and I get back to my desk, I'll be reminded, oh yeah, I've got something to do, right? And it also, I would send this to everybody that's invited to the meeting, so the people that didn't come to the meeting can click on that and see what we talked about. And then that becomes the permanent record. And the last thing, before I go, meeting is all done, we all go back to our work. 2 weeks later, we come back together. About an hour before the meeting, I get ready for the meeting. Guess what I do? I take this, I go copy, I do paste. It creates a duplicate of the exact same thing. I come up here and I change the date. What is 2 weeks from now? That's the 9th?
Yes.
09, bring this back out, leave that there, and I'm going to say,
So it just said 7. Yeah.
thank you. 7, all of this stays the same, right? I go down here, what do I do with this list?
Uncheck.
Uncheck everybody. They all get a fresh start, right? New chance, new life, new everything. And then what do you think I do with this stuff? You take it out.
That's right, yeah. Because you want a clean slate that meeting's.
Yes. This log is only to record
That meeting.
That's
the logging that happened in this meeting. I have found after years of doing this that 5 of these is about the right amount. Okay, if you have 5 of these ready to go, that'll get you through your meeting. You're not going to have too many more than that. And then what do you think I do with all this stuff?
Uncheck it.
Exactly. Uncheck. This one up here is just a guide. Uncheck all of these things. And then, now I have to ask myself, do I really want to talk about all this stuff at this meeting? No, I don't. So I'm going
But if
to,
you did, you'd highlight the items you want to add in yellow.
and there goes the computer.
Okay.
Yeah, I would uncheck all the things that I don't want to talk about and just leave the check marks next to the things that I do want to talk about. And I'm ready for the meeting, and I go have my lunch, and I come back, and it's easy.
So then when you turn them gray because you finish the task, the next meeting you don't even talk about those, right?
Right. The ones that are gray, I take them. They're done. But you might wonder, why do I keep them there? Why do I keep the gray items in the story?
Because you want to have a record of what was completed.
Yeah. And it gives us a record, and it also gives us a way to quickly refer back. Someone can say, do you remember that thing we did? You know, did we really do testing on that one, on the XYZ thing? Oh yeah, there's an action item for that. And we can click on the link and we can see if we did it right? And then 5 years from now, when Oingo Boingo wants to go on another world tour, we've got a template, right? And that is about it for how to use the notebook before the battery went dead. Any questions? Thank you all for attending. I'm sorry to keep you 10 minutes over.